guys.
Up. Jeez. Okay.
Who am I talking to?
How about another one here? 1,000 interviews, right?
Who's asking the first question?
We saw you released the 2440 schedule today, I guess. Seems like.
2040? Yeah, we're there.
Just talk about adding some of those teams to the mix there. I mean, it's a nice mix of around the country for sure.
Well, it is. I mean, we've got a requirement within the SEC to schedule a Power 5 game every season, and many schools are scheduling those Power 5 games out 10, even 15 years. There's a limited number of those games because the majority of the Power 5 conferences play 9 conference games, and so it's really, you've got to do that much further in advance than I'm even comfortable with, but to make sure that I'm taking care of the University of Arkansas. So the opportunity to play Utah or an Oklahoma State, Notre Dame and Texas in the future, those are great games for our program.
When you look at, obviously, what Coach Musselman's doing, the work he's doing just in terms of the flexibility he might have based on what he's doing recruiting, obviously you can't speak to that specifically, but maybe it just speaks more and more to his work ethic. And the statement has been made, this guy perhaps is the hardest working coach in America.
He is, and I knew that from the first time I walked into his house. I'd spoken to him 24 hours earlier on the phone, and 24 hours later during the interview process, he's already watched film on our program, had broken down several of our players, knew many of their tendencies, and that just, to me, showed his work ethic right out of the gate there, and that has not disappointed me at all. He's one of the first ones in the morning. Even when he's on the treadmill, he is working. He's reading leadership books, he's watching film, so when even he's taking a break from being in the office, he's working, and so that's going to pay dividends for us. And what it's also instilling is that work ethic in our players on the court, where they're coming in a great deal more on their own, shooting, working out more than they've ever done in the past.
How important is it when you're scheduling out like the Oklahoma State game, just keeping things kind of regional like that?
I think the Oklahoma State game is a great game for us. I mean, their fans can come to Fayetteville, our fans can go to Stillwater. That makes a great deal of regional sense for us from that standpoint.
So like seeing your son out there wearing the Razorback uniform?
Well, quite candor, I've only seen one practice because I've been on the road for the last week, but I look forward to getting to practice tomorrow, and it's exciting to know that he's out there and to know that when that team runs out of the tunnel there on the 30th of August, that he's going to be a part of that, or 31st of August, excuse me.
Just the bond you guys have, and what's that like watching your son suit up for the school you're representing?
Yeah, I mean, all of my boys, each of us have a little bit different bond, all three of us, and just to know that Jake's here and he's a part of what Coach Morris is building, and he's helping build that culture, and whether he ever gets to play a play this year or any time throughout his career, he'll earn that, but he's part of the culture, and I think that's what excites Coach Morris about having him part of that program, because he understands what Jake's work ethic was all about, and what Jake brings to the program more than anything is just kind of that mentality, and it's part of what Chad wants to add to his program.
How good does that grass look to you out there on the field?
I walked across it yesterday morning. It looks great. It doesn't move when you're walking across it. It's a great addition to that stadium, really. I mean, we talk about being the natural state. It's really cool.
Wasn't the record, obviously, they won it last year, but there seems to be a lot of excitement. How are ticket sales going, and what kind of crowd do you expect that open?
Ticket sales reflect us being 2-10 last year, quite candidly. We're down a little bit, but we're doing some things that around the game day atmosphere. We announced Hogtown, where we're taking Maple Street between Razorback Road and Stadium, and we're going to have a live band. We're going to have a huge video wall with college games. We're going to have a beer garden. We're going to have a dozen or so food trucks. We're going to have games for the kids, and then the team's going to walk through there as part of the hog walk, and we want the game to be a true entertainment value. And so I think our fans that come that first game, they'll experience that. They'll experience some of the new things that are in our stadium, such as the expanded Wi-Fi, some of the augmented reality things we're going to do on the video board, and we're going to make it a special game day experience, and people are going to want to be a part of that.
I guess that's quite the challenge these days with everything being on TV, and you just have to amp it up maybe a little bit.
Absolutely. Our attention spans collectively are not very long, and so you've got to really create an entertainment value in and around your football game to get folks to come into town. It's not an inexpensive endeavor for someone that's not from Northwest Arkansas to drive across the state, potentially get a hotel room that's got a 2-night minimum, eat in restaurants and come to the game, tailgate, things of that nature. And so we got to make sure that there's a value there.
The baseball and track facilities and renovations, were you just blown away when you saw the blueprint?
It's both of those are going to be unbelievable facilities and unbelievable additions to what we already have, which are great facilities. I mean, Baum-Walker Stadium was voted as the #1 place for a fan to watch a baseball game by Baseball America. Now we're going to give Coach Van Horn and his staff the tools they need to recruit the best student athletes. I mean, it's already reflective, and we've got a recruiting class for 2020 that's ranked right now as the #1 recruiting class in the country. Now, baseball's a little finicky; that we got to hold on to all those guys, but that just shows just the power of what that facility is going to bring. And I think it will do the same for our track and field program. We won 45 national championships in our track and field program. We have an unbelievable outdoor stadium, and then adding the amenity for our student athletes with new weight room, training room, locker room, meeting space is just going to help us continue to grow that program.
How eager are you to see just what Neighbors can do with the women's program out there?
Well,
Good run in last year.
You saw that at the end of last year, what he can do to the program, and when they are shooting and getting up and down the floor and playing the game that he wants to play and playing it with a lot of confidence as he continues to get student athletes that fit the style that he's wanting to play. It's going to be really exciting to continue to watch that program grow.
You still need one non-conference game for 2021 and 22, or are you close to?
I don't remember.
Okay.
Quite honestly, I think we're pretty close. We may have just not announced them, but without having those scheduling grids in front of me, I don't know for sure. I think we're pretty close to closing those out, though.
Great. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Hunter.